How's it going, guys? My name is TJP. Welcome back to another video here today on the channel. So I'm doing a tier list. I feel like I haven't done a tier list in a while. So we're going to be doing a tier list of the Backyard Baseball kids. Now, I'm only including the Backyard Baseball kids. I already put the pros here. And also, they have, on this one, Marina Luna and then the Weber twins. When you have them paired together, they're better. Their stats get boosted. But I'll mention that when I'm rating them based on my rating. And then Maria Luna, the pink, she becomes better. And again, I'll bring that up when I get to her. So yeah, we're going to be doing it based on a few things. Number one, their stats. And then also, I think, where I'll factor in my personal experience playing with the characters, I will also do that too. Now, I took a tier list that was already kind of existing from what is it called? I believe it's Tier Maker, and I just deleted one of the rows that was F, and then I added this row here, changed it, because like I said, I'm not rating the pros or the boosts. So yeah, like, subscribe, comment down most videos, social media, second channel, all that fun stuff down in the description. I know I sped through it. You guys know what you need to do. All right, we're getting on to the ratings. This is the most important part. So we're gonna go in order. So Kahn. And again, I'm mixing it based on ratings and feel. For me, I could justify both S or A. I am going to put him in A. Now, I'm not going to also rank them. I think maybe for the S and the A, I'll order them. But I'm not going to order everybody. For me, Kahn is definitely A, high A. He's one of the best hitters in the game. Probably the best hitter. Backyard Baseball kid. He might be the best. Might be. Okay speed, not much pitching, and the fielding also isn't that great either. I think he's got a solid arm, though, but yeah. Really, it's just the hitting that puts me in A. So, he's going there. And also going in A is his brother. Now, if they're on the same team, they're probably both S. Especially Amir. I think he gets bigger boosts than his brother. But Amir, not as good of a hitter as his brother, but still pretty solid. Also not as fast. He is a slightly better pitcher and fielder, but I think that, he's an A. I also like playing as him. I think he's got a cool feel. So again, I'm kind of basing it a mix of ratings and then feel. He is near the top of my ratings, and I'll show you guys my ratings in Tableau. I made a workbook. I'm not going to show you guys the methodology, because you guys probably don't want to see that right now. But if you do, comment down below, and I'll explain it in the comments. Angela Del Vecchio. So here's the thing. Based on the ratings alone, she's actually, how I'm rating them is probably in the bottom half of kids. But I know for a fact, and I can just say based on feel, when I factor in hitting and pitching is probably the two most important things. She could hit. Well, actually, running is also really important too. She can't do that. That's for sure. She's not a great fielder either, but I think I can justify her being in B or A, but I understand based on ratings, she's probably more like a low B, high C. And even then, it's that's maybe being generous. Actually, no, it's not. C is not. B may be a little generous, based on ratings, but probably C is where she'd be. But no, A, and that's just because I played with her in my first series, and she was really good. She was our best pitcher, I think. So yeah, super helpful. A tier. I can justify that based on that, those two criteria. And Frazier, I can justify her being in D. She can't really hit much. The pitching, she doesn't really do that, especially on this team that she's on now. So we have Clanky. She has good speed, though. Decent speed. Not much power. She can put the ball in play, which is good. She has nice contact. It's not, too strong, though. So sometimes it'll be, soft liners right back to the mound. And she usually just gets out. And she's not amazing in the field, either. Doesn't have the strongest arm. I don't think she's dropped a lot of balls, but I don't know. She's D. She gets my nerves a little bit in the series, so that's maybe my personal agenda. But I'd probably still say, based on if I was just doing ratings, I could maybe say low C, high D, or maybe probably high D, I could argue. But she's D. Billie Jean Black, kind of the same thing. I'd say D tier. She doesn't really do anything particularly great. I feel like she's probably below average at kind of everything, if I'm being honest, based on stats. So I think for me, she's D, and that's just the way it goes. Now, this is my first definitive S. You can't argue this. I mean, you can, but you just be wrong. Mr. Clanky, a bit of a cheat in a way because you can't use him in the season mode without save state hacking, but he's S. Like, the pitching is elite. He has infinite stamina, which helps. I mean, obviously he's a robot. Strong arm, doesn't get tired, doesn't drop the ball. He's not the fastest guy. I mean, the hitting is a little misleading. I mean, he is one of the better hitters. He does put the ball in play. I wouldn't say he has, like, amazing power. Yeah, I feel like he's more like he's more like you could get, like, doubles with him. I haven't hit too many home runs with him, but he does get on base, and he's obviously the best pitcher in the game. So, and the stamina, infinite stamina, is also, like, part of the reason why he's the best pitcher in the game. Dante Robinson, I have him in B, and I think that's a good spot for him. Again, he can't really hit well, but I think the difference with him hitting and some of the other people that can't really hit and run well is that he can actually get the ball out of the infield sometimes, so that's kind of beneficial. I like his field. Plus, he's an okay fielder. Not crazy good, but he's pretty solid. I'd say he's, like, above average, possibly. So yeah, Dante Robinson, B. I say B is fair. B is a good rating for him. There's someone I used to play a lot with as a kid, and that's because I liked him. Because if I was also putting personality, he's up there for that. So Dmitry Petrovic, funny guy, funny nerd guy. I think he's B tier. I mean, the hitting is all right. It's actually better than all right. And the running is okay too, not too bad. Doesn't really pitch much. The fielding is not incredible, but I also think he tires easily too. I don't think he's got great stamina. He's not the most fit kid, but he does have some pop and his bat, which helps, and that's why I'd put him in B tier. But he's nothing crazy though. Nothing crazy. Now, Ernie Steele is an interesting character because based on the stats, he's probably like A tier. Based on how I play with him, he's probably like B. But I'm gonna go with A. And the reason I say he's probably B is because, like, sometimes, like, he's low A. He's low A, high B. I would say I'll give him A. He's helped me win. He has okay contact. I mean, not amazing power. He has hit a couple of long, like, balls into the outfield. So he's capable of doing it. Sometimes he's slow as hell. Sometimes. But he's not as slow as, like, Mikey Thomas. And he does make a great first baseman. So, and he's got good pitching stats, too. But I don't use him as a pitcher. But he can pitch if need be. So I'd say he's useful. Probably the bottom of A. Bottom of A. Gretchen, D. Yeah, I mean, she can't really hit the ball far. But I guess she can make contact, and sometimes she can outrun and get on base. But she also does not make a lot of plays in the field. She doesn't have the strongest arm. She was originally I was really underestimating her in the beginning. I was like, oh, wow, she's going to be really good. And then she just started to kind of fall back in order. So, yeah. Ironically, though, based on stats alone, I do have her better than Annie Frazier. Which, actually, I might agree with if I was rating this. I might actually put her above Annie, like, based on feel, too. Because, like, with Gretchen, even though she hits the ball less than her, I feel like she actually ends up beating out more hits. So, Jocinda, I feel like Jocinda could be A or B, but I'm going to put her in B. I think that Ernie can do some things a little bit better, although I do think Jocinda is a better hitter. Contact hitter especially. I think that's her bread and butter. She doesn't have, like, that much power. But I think that, and she's a decent fielder too. She's also a good fielder. But I think there's just some other things that I like about Ernie a little bit more over Jocinda. But Jocinda, you can make the argument that she's high A, low A, high B, around that area. Like, it's a mix. I mean, just based on the stats, Ernie's also ahead of her. So Jorge Garcia, based on stats, is the 6th best backyard baseball kid, above Ernie. However, I don't feel like he's like that when I play with him. I feel like he's more like a C. I could maybe give him B, low B, but I feel like he's more like a C character, just based on his swing. I don't like his swing animation that much. It's like a weird chop down motion. I mean, he has some power. So when he does make contact, he can hit it kind of far. He's not the fastest guy in the world. Not an amazing fielder. He's serviceable, I guess. Pitching rating, he's not gonna throw him too much, but he's fine. I mean, again, C tier, high C, low B, if I was gonna rate him properly. But I'm probably gonna push down here. Keisha's S. I'm not going to... I mean, especially just based on the way she's been playing this year for me. She's an S-tier character. But even the stats back that up. Great hitter. She's also fast, which helps. She's not an amazing pitcher. Fielding, she's all right at. She's all right at. She's got a good, solid arm as well. Pretty solid arm. She's been good for me in right field, so no complaints S-tier. She's probably my best... Is she my best player? The thing is, Clanky's pitching, that's what I'm saying. It's tight, though. Well, actually, Pete also has an argument when we get to him, but we're not to him yet. Kenny's B, I'd say. The stats alone, I mean, pitching-wise, he's amazing. Obviously, he can't really hit the ball of the infield. He just does what can you expect from the guy. But it's good speed, very good pitcher, probably the second best pitcher in the game, second or third, backyard kid pitcher. And I mean, the fielding's all right. I think he's actually solid as a catcher. He did a good job for me as a catcher in my first season, so I've got to give him credit where credit's due. Kimmy's an interesting one. Based on just the stats, Kimmy is the worst character in the game. However, I could justify her being in C tier. I would rather have Kimmy Ekman over Annie Frazier and Gretchen Hasselhoff any day of the week. She has some power. She does sometimes miss contact a lot, but when she does hit the ball, she has hit a couple of home runs for me over the fence. It has more power than Ernie, I'd say. But she's not really fast at all. I mean, doesn't really pitch much. I think her fielding's a little underrated because she has a good arm. I think. I mean, I've had her at catcher, and she's never messed up a throw. So, at least that I can remember. So, yeah, Kimmy, for me, I'd say is C. Just the hitting is carrying her. Lisa Crockett, I would say, is a C-tier character as well. Now, you could say, statistically speaking, she does some things well, and mainly it's probably running, which is also a decent pitcher. I mean, she's not an amazing hitter. She looks probably below average at the plate. Actually, ironically, statistically speaking, because of the running stat that I have here, she is above Jocinda Smith by a little bit. And again, I'd probably say no to that, just based on feel. For me, C tier character. Luan Louie, kind of the same issue with some of these other characters, where it's like she can't really hit the ball, but she's super fast. Pitching and fielding aren't great either. So for me, I would say she's probably higher end of C. I could argue B because of the running. It's just, if you make contact, she's probably going to get on base because the AI is so bad, no matter what difficulty you play on. But I don't know. I feel like I would rather have Pete Wheeler, because he could actually hit the ball of the infield consistently, and he can hit over the fence. And he's a better fielder. Maria Luna. If we are talking about Pink Maria Luna, A tier. Minimum A tier. Possibly S. I mean, I wouldn't put her over the people that are definitively an S. So she's like low S at her best. But I would say, yeah, definitely A tier, mid A tier minimum, if we're talking on a pink team. But we're not. So she's probably like top of D. She's probably top of D tier. And then the statistics back that up. Overall ratings aren't really too great. The batting isn't amazing. I mean, it's not the worst in the game. She's not the fastest tool in the shit. She doesn't really pitch. She's not a great she's a below average fielder. Actually, yeah, she's definitely below average. So I would say D tier. Yeah, D tier. D tier. Marky Duboy is also bottom of the C. You can argue D, but I'm gonna say C. I think the stats that he has. I mean, he could pitch a little bit. He's an okay fielder, pretty solid. Not much running out of him. Doesn't help that he's barefoot. Maybe if he wore shoes, but he doesn't. So C tier. Mikey Thomas. Based on just stats, he is below Jocinda, Sally, Dante. But we value dingers, and that is Mikey Thomas. Now, I would say this. He cannot run to save his life, and he has very limited amount of stamina. So if he gets on base, he's basically guaranteed out. I feel like he is the slowest character in the game. He's probably the worst base runner in the game. Like, yeah. He's got a good arm, though. The fielding, I mean, yeah, he obviously the range is not great because he's not fast. But when he makes the play, he's got a fantastic arm. So that does help. But yeah, he can hit. He can hit. He's a top 3 hitter. He's a top 3 hitter. So he's A tier though, because if he was somewhat faster, I would put him in S because his bat's also gigantic. So that helps. So Sydney, Ashley, Weber, rating them the same no matter what. They're both C. Now when they're together, you could say they're A, but we're not rating them when they're together. We're rating them when they are separate. So C tier. Probably like middle or bottom of C, but I'm just going to keep it in C. No arguments here. Pablo Sanchez is the best character in the game. I feel like he just hitting-wise, he can hit for power, he can hit for contact. He's fast enough to where he can, like, beat out, ground balls fairly consistent. I think as a pitcher, he's not great, but you could throw him like an inning if you don't have like a dominant pitcher like Clanky. But let's say if you didn't have Clanky and you pitched like Angela or Kenny and they retired and you have juice, you could throw him in for an inning. You can close it out because you got the heater. But outside of that, no, that's fielding really good. He could drop some balls, but he's got a good arm, and obviously the hitting and the running is really where he thrives. I mean, he's not the fastest character in the game, but he's one of the faster. He's definitely above average speed. One of the top runners in the game. Close to actually probably top tier running, to be honest. But he's S tier. He's got a lot. He's got amazing power, and he's got great contact, good contact too. So S tier. And here's another one. Probably honestly, Pete's third overall behind Clanky. And I think the intelligence is what's bringing him down. He's got a 10.2 base IQ rating because he's just if the CPU was playing as him, they'd swing it like balls out of the zone. But when I play as him, he's got a good amount of power. I mean, when he swings and misses, though, he whiffs. But when he makes contact, it can go a long way. Even if it doesn't go a long way, it's basically a hit because it's a ground ball. As long as it's not like the first base or the pitcher, chances are he's beating it out. So, B. Wheeler is amazing. He also doesn't drop the ball that much in the field. He's got a solid arm. S-tier character. S-tier character. I probably agree with my ranking of having him third best in the game just because Clanky is just so good as a pitcher. But, yeah, Pete's S-tier. Reese Worthington is a C-tier character if I've ever seen one. Although, I will say this. statistically speaking, based on ratings, and I say statistically, I mean ratings, he's probably a D tier. I'll give him the credit's due. He helped us win a championship. I think he actually can sometimes hit the ball out of the infield. Sometimes. The speed is okay. The fielding is actually pretty good. And he's probably one of the smarter kids in the game. Even smarter than Dimitri. But anyways, that's why Dimitri calls him a nerd. Yeah, he's a C tier. Now, Ricky Johnson is a D tier character. No doubt about it. Can't really hit at all. Maybe the worst hitter in the game. And then, running is decent, but doesn't matter. We really can't hit. He's actually a solid pitcher. The fielding is, but the hitting is just so bad that it's like, I don't know. I will say this, though. He did get a hit against us, I believe. So, good for him. But, I don't know. For me, just a feel, I say he's a D character. Ronnie and Sally, to me, are kind of similar, but I think one is slightly better than the other. Ronnie is C. High C. Like the juice. For the ratings, he's probably, right. He's actually right below Dimitri. He's above Sydney and Ashley. He's actually above Angela and Kenny, but I would rather have Angela and Kenny just because I think Ronnie, he's got a little bit of pop, but it's, not enough to where it's, because he's not the fastest guy. He's not, the slowest guy either. He doesn't really do anything amazing. If he could hit well, if he could do something elite, that's why Mikey Thomas is elite hitter. That's why he's up here. Ahmed Kahn is a elite hitter, right? These guys are elite at something, which is why they get at something useful in the game. So that's why they're up there, and you feel the impact. So for me, C. Sally, she's kind of in a similar boat. Again, overall ratings-wise, she's actually better than Mikey Thomas, but I don't think so. I just don't think so. I'd have her in B tier. I don't know exactly where in B tier. You could probably say not above. I would not have her above. Even though she is above in ratings, Dimitri and Jocinda. Is she above Jocinda? No, she's right behind Jocinda. But I definitely would rather have those two. And I'd probably argue I'd rather have Kenny as well. Even Dante makes an argument too. But yeah, she's B tier though. You give her B tier. She does. To me, I think she might just be a little bit better than Ronnie. So, but not by much. You can argue that she could be a C tier. Stephanie Morgan, for me, I would say also is a B tier character. She, doesn't really do anything exceptionally well. She's not really an exceptional hitter. Okay, contact. Running is pretty decent. She's a solid fielder. I think she's a good second baseman, catcher, or something. Infielder, catcher kind of thing. Probably wouldn't want to stick her in the outfield, but no, she's all right. B tier character. Speaking of B tier, we got Tony Delvecchio, B tier for me. Tony is kind of statistically, ratings and statistics might be better than some of these characters that are above him, but I had him on my team, and his swing is very awkward. The dude has no use. He's like Giancarlo Stanton, except without the muscles. Swings all arms, literally swings all arms, does not use his lower body, but cool guy, and if he goes against Angela, he becomes really good. Vice versa, Angela becomes really good if she goes against Tony. That's another boost in the game. Kenny actually boosts with Ichiro, too. That's another one. There's a few others, but again, I said I'm not going to not talking about boosts. And we're not talking about pros either. Last player, Vicky, I would say is top C tier. You could argue B. And that's really because she is... Oh, not D. C. Okay. You could argue the running is really fast. She's an elite. She's elite at speed. She doesn't really hit the ball far. Probably the second worst in the game, but because she's very fast, that helps. Also, she's good at fielding. I do think it might be a little overrated because she does make a lot of errors. short, but she's fine. I'd say I could justify being C. She's helped me win championships. B, if it was the bottom tier of B, I couldn't go any higher than that. I couldn't really justify much. I mean, she's already pitching, but I would just say there's better options. To me, she's C. You know, so that's kind of where I stand. But this is my tier list based on feels and also ratings. And for those that want to see the ratings and how I kind of came up with it, there they kind of are. I don't know if you guys can see that, but let me know down in the comments below if you would want to see the methodology that I had behind this. It is a mix of the hidden stats and then my personal weightings, and I'd say overall, like, I kind of kept true to this, but also I gave some people positives and negatives based on how I feel like I play with them. So there's a little bit of my personal taste to it. That way it's not just kind of, well, even then the ratings are kind of my personal taste too, but it's a mix. But anyways, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below some videos or social play the second channel, the main channel down in the description if you like other content from DJP. With that being said, I'm heading on out. Take care, everybody. See you soon. Peace.